Welcome to the Culture Show. We're at Danson House, a Georgian gem just south of London, to see the results of a pretty remarkable restoration project. But we begin tonight in New York with the man who, for his age, may well be the richest living artist in recorded history, Damien Hirst. Hirst's famous pickled shark was recently sold by the collector Charles Saatchi for an estimated £6 million. But now it seems that Hirst has moved on from the sculptures and installation pieces with which he made his name. And his new show, which just opened in Manhattan, consists exclusively of photorealist canvases. But is there a danger that in seeking to reinvent himself, he'll end up losing his way? I went to New York to meet him. The Gagosian Gallery in New York is holding Damien Hirst's first show dedicated purely to paintings, called The Elusive Truth. These images are reproductions in oil paint of photographs taken from newspapers, magazines and adverts, which, for one reason or another, have caught the artist's eye. In the hectic final hours before the show's due to open, I've come to see what Hirst's been up to these past 2 years. What's kind of amazing about this is the sense you get of the multiplication of product. I mean, this is a factory. There's a vast amount. It's like Hirst on mass production scale. With the opening fast approaching, a small army of Hirst's assistants are hard at work. They've been flown over from the UK and are busy putting last-minute touches to a cornucopia of photorealist canvases. These include paintings taken from photos commissioned by Hirst of his own sculptures, as well as press photos of the morbid subjects you might expect him to like: human skulls, a football hooligan, and 6 mugshots of a crack addict taken from a well-known anti-drugs campaign.
Hi. Hey. How you doing?
How much do you actually have to do with them?
I basically get the job of finishing them, which is good. So it's like I end up getting to do like the washes. Like I go in with a red wash over the blood, which will really make it stand out. So I did the blood on that.
So you get more involved in the painting as you've gone on?
Not really. I mean, it's more sculptural. It's definitely like being an architect and not building your own house.
So Hirst finishes them off, but it's his team of assistants that put most of the paint on the canvas, copying the photos to his specifications.
I mean, I did go around saying, don't express yourself every day to everybody who's painting them. You know, guys, don't express yourselves, please. Let's go back. Repaint it. There's too much expression in there. I'm trying to find images which are timeless, which are about every day. What the newspapers are trying to do with an image and what I'm trying to do with the image are both different, but they're to do with truth, and none of us are getting anywhere near it. So I think that whole idea of truth is elusive. I'm looking around at what's going on in the world today personally, and I'm thinking, okay, what's going to be significantly, what's going to be very significant 200 years' time from now? These aren't going anywhere, they're not going to put their paintings. So painting, as we all know, is, going to hang around for a very long time. I wouldn't expect people who are interested in the history of painting to come in here and go, he's a great painter. But I think in terms of a show of, images of what I'm working on, then, I think you'd be impressed in terms of the way that they're done and things like that.
What's the subject of that picture?
It's the aftermath of the suicide bomber. I kind of think as an artist that what's going on in the time that I'm alive is somehow going to be important. That's it. I don't want to make any big statements, but it's like if I feel confused about suicide bombers and that sort of stuff, then you want to do a painting of that. I find myself looking at things to do with brush marks and like his arm, for instance, in that painting is very loosely painted. It can be painted much tighter, but the reason why it's loosely painted is because of what the muscles are doing in the arm. You want the paint to be very loose and sort of chaotic.
Are there other painters that you've thought of? I mean, that's maybe a little bit Lucian Freud.
Not really. I don't know. I mean, I've not really thought about it. It's like if I was going to think, painters I love are like Soutine or Bacon or someone like that. So it's sort of a no-go area really for me if I was going to think about painters. I've been thinking about the image. Trying to avoid any sort of expression.
Why photorealism though? Because you could take an image and paint your own picture inspired by it, not copy it.
But it's like collage. I need to choose things. I can't. if you give me a blank canvas and say, right, what do you want to paint? It's like I get a kind of block.
Do you think the possibilities of expression in painting for someone like you, they're dead then? They've
No.
been done, it would just be a cliche.
No, I mean, I don't think it's dead. I mean, I spent a lot of time choosing the images, so a lot of that expression was done before you start, so that I didn't have to get involved in the painting that way, maybe through a kind of lack of confidence or something. But once you get to the point, I've opened up an area an area of language which I never had before. I like it that the image hits you first of all, and then the painting is something afterwards. That's my favourite one.
Which one? That one?
That one, yeah. That of all of them.
Why?
I just love the flatness of the bonnet. It's not filling the whole thing. So it's like a bonnet. And the cigar, it's like an exploding cigar or something. You see the cigar on the bonnet. Like the marks on it. The marks on it are all really loose. So when you get close, I love that.
There's quite a lot of blood in them.
Yeah, it's not happy, is it? I just realised my mum's coming and she's like, can't you just do some nice paintings of flowers?
There's some flowers at the end of the hospital corridor.
Oh yeah, no, there is. Yeah, no, there is. You're right.
So you're all right. Just
not enough for my mum. Do you like them?
I like some of them more than I like others of them.
They're ambitious.
I've only just seen them, Damien.
No, they're interesting and ambitious.
They are interesting and ambitious, like you. Hirst was the leader of the Brit Art Pack back in the early 90s, putting contemporary art into the mainstream of popular culture with works like Away from the Flock and, of course, the famous Pickled Shark. His new paintings might look very different, but they do the same thing as his sculptures, taking things that exist already, found images rather than dead animals, and making us look at them. Look at this, look at this, look at this, is what they say. But for me, they say it more quietly and with less impact. For at least 10 years, there was this massive sense of energy surrounding you and a whole generation of artists, and that inevitably can't stay at that level all the time.
Why not? Maybe it can go, what you mean, it goes down, or maybe it can go up. When you look at it,
where is it going?
No, but what I've absolutely found out is you look at it and you go, well, it can't stay like that forever, meaning it's got to cool off, but it always can actually go up as well as go down. And then you die in the middle of it, and you think, oh my God, it did go on like that for ages. I don't know, I think generally en masse, people are more excited by art now than they were when I started, which is great. People like art, people who go see an art show who don't normally go see art shows. In terms of my career, I've got the fly piece, so I can kind of do anything now. What I do can be crap now until I die. I've still actually got to that point where I've done something like that. Yeah. And so to do a show like this, I think, there's no need for me to do a show like this. Really, I don't think of it, to deviate at this point in my career. So I'm personally quite pleased that I've done it.
Well, I suppose a cynic might say that, well, Damien Hirst's gone into painting because he can knock out loads quickly and make even more money than he's already made.
I don't know. I don't know about that really. I mean, I think money's. There's always a problem, especially with art, because art's something which is supposed to be sort of like generous on some levels. So I think people, en masse, you're sort of involved with the public or everybody. They're sort of gunning for you to believe in what you're doing. Selling out basically it's about, isn't it?
But striking out in a new direction isn't your way of saying to yourself that you have run into a bit of a cul-de-sac. It's time to change.
No, I don't feel like that though, because I love my own work. So I wouldn't think to myself, oh my God, I've really got to do something new here.
So this isn't Damien's midlife crisis at the age of 40?
I was born in a midlife crisis. I think that's what I've made a career out of, isn't it?
It's opening night, and the stars are out, hovering to get near the celebrity that is Damien Hirst. I can't imagine an artist being more famous than this. Not even Andy Warhol in the factory years. You can feel the love and the money, and it's all flowing in one direction. It must be quite an odd feeling to be the most expensive living artist.
I end up in a position where I've got to be very careful about who I give things to, which is something which giving away art has always been something that has been quite important to me. To say to someone like, hey, I love you, have that kind of thing. And I'm also interested in making people look at a picture. I want them to look at the picture and enjoy the picture. But if I give somebody something and they put it on, they're not going to see the picture. They're going to see the dollar signs. Yeah. And so that's something I'm thinking about at the moment and don't quite know how to deal with.
I like Damien Hirst, but I'm still not convinced by the new works. He doesn't want them to be judged as oil paintings in the fine arts sense, but they are oil paintings, and it's hard not to judge them as part of that tradition. He wants them valued just as Damien Hirst's, but isn't that saying they're only valuable as products of the art world's most famous brand? One truth about these pictures is anything but elusive. Within a day of the opening, they were all sold. And Damien Hirst's paintings will be on display at the Gagosian gallery until the end of April. And now to music. The Abbey Road studios will be known